good morning once again, and welcome back to New Day, specifically to our health segment. So I just found out this morning that shingles is a new and improved version of chickenpox for adults.
Dr. Blanco.
According to Dr. Blanco
Not
and
Dr.
Dr. Amake Abebrese. But luckily, we've got Dr. Bote in the studio this morning to shed some more light about shingles. And of course, we can't start without acknowledging our lovely sponsors, Lipton, inspiration flowing from nature. Good morning, Dr. Bote.
Good morning.
So how true is Dr. Blanco and Dr. Amake Abebrese's
Liars.
Is it really an adult form of chickenpox?
In a sense, and maybe to the layman would want to put it that way, but actually, you can't possibly get shingles if you've never gotten chickenpox. So the underlying factor is that for someone to have gotten shingles, that means that at a point in the person's life, the person must have gotten chickenpox.
Right.
So anybody who's ever gotten chickenpox is a candidate for shingles later on in life. So we usually realize that those who get shingles, or which people call Ananse, in our local parlance we call it Ananse. It's usually in adulthood. People, you hardly see children with Ananse.
Okay, so children do not get
hardly.
shingles. Okay.
Hardly would you ever see a child with that. It's usually seen after the age of 50, and then maybe in the late 30s to 50. So it's a situation where it's a disease that is caused by a virus, which the same virus which causes chickenpox called varicella zoster virus. So when you have chickenpox and then you treat it, you are well, it doesn't mean that the varicella zoster virus is totally out of your system. The body's immune system is able to fight and clear as much of the virus as possible, but some of the viruses emerge or they hide in your system, especially your nerves.
Right.
You take your spinal cord at your back. The spinal cord has root nerves that come out from it. So the varicella zoster actually hides at the root of the nerve, right from your spinal cord, and then sometimes at the base of the skull, so that they can affect both your spinal cord and then some of your cranial nerves, or the nerves that emerge from the brain. So you realize that for almost all of your adult life, the virus stays latent, it stays dormant, inactive, because your immune system is well built and it suppresses the virus. But for some reason, for some unknown reason or immunosuppressive reasons later on in life, when you are aging, your immune system is getting weak, or you are using medications that suppress your immune system, or even if you have immunosuppression as diseases like that suppress your immune system, then the virus gets reactivated.
Right.
And then they move along the nerve roots. So you realize that for most people, it starts from the back, along the root of the nerve, all the way to over the skin that the nerve supplies. So it comes from the back all the way to the front. So it moves along nerve lines, or it moves along dermatomes, the nerves, the skin that the nerve supplies. So if it's maybe the nerve number, let's say nerve number 12, or
our nerves are numbered?
Yeah, we have numbers.
Okay.
So let's say if it's a nerve number 12, it moves along that line, and then we were affecting the skin overlying that particular part. And you know that one thing you hear commonly in local parlance, that if that rash should go around you, you die.
Yes. If they should meet.
They should meet.
Is that true?
Yeah, but have you ever seen it meet?
No,
you never see me. The reason is why. The reason why they hardly meet is that, as I said, it's along nerves.
Yes.
So the nerve from this side comes and ends in the middle.
Oh.
This one starts from here, ends in the middle.
Right.
So if it's coming along this line, comes along this line and gets to the middle, maximum.
So there's no way they'll ever meet.
It hardly would they meet.
Wow.
So it usually affects one side of the body. It's on one side of them. So you see pictures on your screen that will show that if it sometimes affects the face, some of the nerves that affect the face. So it's on one side of the face, usually on one side. If it's the neck, on one side of the neck.
Right.
So that is the
it's isolated.
That's the pathophysiology of.
Is it just the upper body?
Mostly in the upper body. Hardly do you see it. Usually in the torso, and sometimes you can have it on the face, which and can affect the eye. We call that one the zoster or herpes zoster of Thamicus. It can affect the ear.
What did you just herpes?
Herpes zoster.
It's a form of herpes.
Yes, herpes zoster. The
same.
Herpes herpes zoster. Okay,
Is it like the
same herpes that we know?
the sexually transmitted?
The sexually no, this is not the sexually transmitted one. The actual meaning of the word herpes, the herpes is a Greek word which means creeping. Creeping. So this is varicella.
Varicella.
Yeah.
Creepings.
So this is varicella zoster, but it has been latent for all this while, and now it has been reactivated because of suppression of the body's immune system, and then it's creeping gradually. So it's zoster that is creeping. So herpes zoster virus.
When it comes, I've always wondered this because it just happens. When we were kids and chickenpox came, we never knew where it came from. It came from one child and it spread around the classroom. Where did that one child get it from?
Well, chickenpox.
Because it's the same kind of virus.
It's the same virus.
Okay. So.
It's one child gets it and everybody gets it in the and these are viral infections. That child may have been exposed to the chickenpox virus some way, somehow, from home, from the community where the person lives, and the transmission is so very fast. I remember getting chickenpox some time ago, and I got it from my patients because I hadn't gotten it before.
Yeah.
So once you get exposed to it, some way, somehow, you also get the infection.
So is shingles transmitted in the same way as well?
The interesting thing is that if you have shingles and I sit close to you, I will not get shingles as long as I don't keep that kind of close contact. But then even if I do keep that close contact with you, I will not get same shingles. If I've been exposed to chickenpox before, my body would have built an immunity to chickenpox.
Right.
So that if you have shingles, I will not get shingles. What I will get from you would be chickenpox. That is, if I haven't gotten chickenpox before. So you have shingles, I get close to you, what I'll get is chickenpox.
Okay.
Because I'm not immune to it, or I've been vaccinated against chickenpox. But if I've gotten chickenpox before, my body's immune system is well built to fight chickenpox.
So it's not contagious then?
So it's not contagious.
Do you know that I really don't know? I need to call my mom after the show. I really don't know if I've had...
Continue to sit at that side of the chair.
I really do not know if I've had chickenpox, honestly.
If you haven't had it, if you either get the vaccine for chickenpox or when somebody has shingles, you will not get shingles from the person. What you can be exposed to is the varicella zoster virus. When you go home, it will first give you chickenpox. Then after some years in your life, it may be reactivated as virus, herpes zoster. So it's a resurrection. Well, I won't say it's adult chickenpox, but it's rather
chickenpox version 2.0.
You see that one? reverse standard version.
Doc, is it true that an adult or an individual must get chickenpox at least once in their lifetime?
Yes and no, not necessarily. I mean,
so there are some people that can go without ever getting.
People can go without it.
I guess if you're not exposed to it.
If you're not exposed to it, once you get exposed to it, you get immunity to it, and it's usually a lifelong immunity, because the virus somehow still stays in your system, and your body would have built antibodies to fight the virus. But in this day and age, now we have the chickenpox vaccine available, so kids are sometimes vaccinated against chickenpox. That gives them some high amount of protection against chickenpox.
Right. Now, please, can we talk about the symptoms and diagnosis of shingles?
Yeah. As we said, it's something that is already in your system and only can be reactivated after some time in your life. If your immune system breaks down, if you are taking medication, cytotoxic chemotherapy, and those things that suppress your immune system, it can reactivate the virus to cause problems. It may start with a normal feeling of fever, malaise, headaches, and as usual, people will think, "Oh, I'm feeling feverish, I may have malaria." But then
everything is malaria.
Everything is malaria in this country. It's amazing. But we blame malaria for some time, and it's not malaria. So this may happen for a couple of days, and then characteristically, what you're going to feel is that along certain a band, a strip of skin on some part of your body, could be your face, it could be your torso or your abdomen, you start feeling burning sensation. Either the place becomes oversensitive, or you start having these pins and needles feeling, what is called paresthesia. I say tingling.
Oh, but
pins and needles.
I do get that sometimes. Those like pins and needles, like that's normal.
You see, in medicine, nothing is taken in isolation.
No, but I think everybody gets that. But sometimes experience that. Sometimes you just get this. Is that shingles?
No, that's not shingles. So what I'm saying that you don't take symptoms in isolation. That because I have this headache, headache doesn't mean you have malaria.
Right.
So you could have, but if the thing is abundant along a certain line, it's across, burning sensation, and then later on, after a couple of days, begin to have pain.
Right.
So it begins to have sometimes the mild to severe pain along the same band of area where the virus is, and then when eventually the rash breaks out.
Okay.
And breaks out and follows a certain pattern, like it's moving, and it keeps creeping along a certain dermatome, along a certain nerve line, and then sometimes the rashes become vesicles that get filled with fluid, and then to burst out and then eventually form certain crusts, like a whole matted area, and it becomes very, very painful because it involves nerves.
Yeah, the characteristic of chickenpox is the fact that you itch a lot. So with shingles, it's not necessarily itching; it will be inflammation and pain.
So no itching at all.
You may itch, but unlike chickenpox, which is characteristic, like has to do with itching, this one is not much of itching, but more of pain and the inflammation effect. So there'll be swelling, there'll be redness, and then pain over the area.
Are there any home remedies that can be used?
Like chickenpox?
Well, yeah, chickenpox. Anybody who had chickenpox during their youth, as soon as you got it, the next day you were slathered in chamomile lotion and you were white for the next...
that's for the dada buff people. Like the local people, you put like condo or something.
People put condo. Some go to the beach and they go and wash themselves in the beach for chickenpox.
You're talking about chamomile.
Do all kinds of shenanigans to help the situation. But I mean, once the viral problem, it will still run its course. What you need to do at that point, like having a common cold, is to reduce the effect of the cold. If your nose is blocked, you try to decongest your nose, take some paracetamol for the headaches and feverishness. So it's the same with chickenpox and herpes. Well, you try to reduce the amount of pain that goes with it. So at home you can have mild to moderate.
There's actually some pictures on the screen now. Just to inform you at home as well that if you are watching, there will be images that will be coming up on the screen. Just to let you know that they are graphic and very real. So if you do have any kind of sensitivity to such images, just be aware. But obviously, we have to let you know exactly what the symptoms are and what they look like. So it's for you as well.
Yeah. So for the home remedies, you can start with painkillers, and then later report to your doctor, who would probably put you on some antiviral agents to reduce the extent to which the spread can go, and then sometimes put you on some steroids to reduce the immune reaction that is going on, because sometimes it can get complicated if the extent of the spread is not minimized. It can get several complications of herpes zoster.
Doc, is there any vaccine for shingles?
Yeah, there's a vaccine. That is a shingles vaccine is available. So one can be immunized against it. At
a young age, or even in your adult age?
Even in the adult age, you can be given. There's also so we have the varicella. Basically, the varicella vaccine is there. There's a zoster vax.
Right.
Also available.
But for the vaccine, you wouldn't take the vaccine unless you've had chickenpox. Because obviously you can't get shingles that way.
Yes.
Right.
So for the herpes zoster, you have to take it if you've been exposed to chickenpox. But for the chickenpox, if you've been exposed to chickenpox already, there is no point to go and take chickenpox virus. Because the point is, once you get it once, your body's immune system is built to fight any further attacks of chickenpox. So you basically get chickenpox only once. Herpes zoster even is usually once in a lifetime. Okay, in rare cases, maybe twice in a lifetime, but that would mean that your immune system must have been very, very much suppressed. And usually, even when we're talking about nerves, it actually affects only 1 or 2 closed nerves, and it runs along. And after the 3 to 5 weeks of the disease, it's off.
Okay.
And then,
Doc, what's the duration for the outbreak of the shingles rash?
The rash usually looking at between 3 weeks to about 5 weeks.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Yes,
it's about the same as chickenpox.
Yes, and it takes a long time. And sometimes when the disease is over, there's this complication that we call post-herpetic neuralgia. That is the crust and everything goes off, but then the nerves that have been affected still the kind of pain that they elicit still remains. So the rash is gone, the place gets healed. You see, sometimes you see the place that, okay, this spot has been exposed and this person has had herpes zoster, but they come back always with pain. We call that post-herpetic neuralgia. That is one of the complications. And as I said, sometimes you see the face, there are nerves, that sensory nerves on their face called trigeminal nerve, so that they also get affected. So you see the person's face and eye all affected. And if it's affecting the eye, chances are that it could eventually, if not taken care of, it could eventually lead to vision loss or affect your vision if it's affecting that part of your eye. So like the one you're seeing on the screen right now, so it can affect the eye, some can affect the ear, what we call it Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. So it's just about the nerves. So if it's affecting the nerve that run through the ear, the vestibulocochlear nerve, then you're going to have hearing effect as well. So the complications can be many and varied.
Yeah. Does the rash leave you with spots like chicken pox does?
Yes. Sometimes they leave an indelible mark. So you can see someone who has been healed totally from herpes zoster, but sometimes the mark would still be there for quite a long time. I think that I had very bad chicken pox some years ago, but you don't see anything on my face right now. It was very bad. So over time, if your immune system is well, gradually it heals and heals and heals. But in the interim, in the short space of time, in the couple of first few years, you might have a scar and scabs over there showing.
When it comes to shingles, to be honest, I mean, Sandra just about heard about it today and found out what it was. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who are not aware of it. But we do know about malaria. We do know that it can kill. Can shingles kill?
Yes, anything can be dangerous, anything can be fatal, anything can cause mortality if it's not handled in terms of rapidity, in terms of time, and in terms of extent to which it goes. So as much as I would say that shingles should not kill, if somebody's immune system happens to be so much suppressed, and the reactivation comes in, it hits the person much more than it will hit somebody whose immune system is strong. Right. So in this day and age where we're having HIV is suppressing people's immune system, they get very extensive rash on them, and these things, they contribute to their morbidity in terms of their health. To say that is a direct cause of death, not really. But then, if it's still not taken care of, it could complicate into other things. It may be a viral infection, but then with the fluid and things sticking out on the rash, there could be a superimposed bacterial infection, which has to be treated. So everything is looked at in tandem, so that a holistic approach is given to everything. Yeah. So I won't say that chicken herpes zoster can kill, but anything, if it's not taken care of, malaria, if it's not taken care of, it can kill you.
So let's just keep on.
How is it treated?
How is shingles treated? Well, basically, the symptoms have to do with the rash, the pain, the inflammation. So, one, we know that it's caused by a viral agent. So, the doctors will put you on antiviral medications to deal with the virus. The pain is dealt with using appropriate painkillers or pain relief, and sometimes the lesion that forms, there are creams that we give you to apply